All right, Vince, hit him in the head, right between the eyes.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you'll ever listen to.
Booze, brews, horror movie reviews. Your final bros have survived.
We are here with Brian, the hottest of boys, LaGrasse.
I am a member of the Living Dead. Also joined by Shane, they call me the Caulker Smith.
I am a member of the Grateful Dead.
Joined also by Mike the Cannibal Gypsy.
I am a member of Creed.
And Matt, a.k.a. The Matt.
Do you smell what the Matt is cooking?
I don't know.
Oh, Matt's
Okay.
He's got nothing.
got
He's got nothing.
I got
He's got
nothing.
nothing. You gotta be
I'm
quick.
sorry.
You gotta be quick. You should have said you were a member of the NRA.
Oh, you should
We're
have.
real controversial on this
I'm sorry.
podcast.
Or the KKK.
Yes. Or you know, whatever. But anyway.
Or an
we are-
HOA.
No one wants to be a member of them. They should all be burned at the stake. Is that a hot take?
It's
Steak?
Oh, that's a throwback.
Bri, look at this region.
What is happening?
What's happening in this region? It's not as straight as usual. There's this piece and this piece. It's going like
Do you have
that.
product or no?
Do you have product in?
No, it's natural.
Do you ever use product?
If I have to go somewhere, like a wedding or something.
Oh, nice.
But otherwise,
So-
I just all natural, baby.
With that witty banter, you have to understand and know we are discussing Night of the Living Dead today.
Yes. A movie from 1968, the oldest movie we've reviewed.
Probably no. That definitely is Plan 9.
Oh, true. That was
And
19,
this would also be tied probably before that would be Rosemary's Baby with this because they came out both in 68.
Yes,
I believe.
Plan 9 is the oldest.
Now, this movie's considered a classic.
And I see it, but I will also say it is a little boring.
Yeah, I think at
Yeah,
times there's
yeah,
some things that can
yeah.
definitely be omitted. I do think there's a lot of cool stuff in it.
Yes.
I do like the approach he took with a lot of like not so much on the kills, but more or less on what's happening in the world.
Yes.
Now, just think about what this movie potentially launched in terms of future zombie.
This was there zombie apocalypse movies before? This was like
No,
the
this was
apocalypse
it. Yeah.
movie.
Like George A. Romero revolutionized the business, and I hold this movie in high regard because of that. It did so much for horror and just movies in general. It's a very important movie.
Now, you're saying back in the day when this came out, controversial for some
Very controversial. A lot of the kills or the zombies eating body parts is something that's never been done in Hollywood. Hollywood was aghast about it, or agape. No.
Gape.
No. Gapes.
Aghast.
Aghast
No
about it.
gapes here.
Yeah, they were just like, oh, like they couldn't believe what they were seeing.
There's definitely a naked zombie woman. in
Yeah,
this
there is.
movie.
Could you
That
imagine
she
if there
was
was
a gape?
gapes? The
I
gapes
mean,
would be great.
depending on what
Apes,
you're doing to her,
gapes,
she could
shapes.
Yeah.
For
Also,
sure.
I love that the first zombie that attacks is Peter Capaldi.
It looks just fucking like him. That is very true.
Yeah. Like, it was the first thing that came to mind, but I'm like, no, he couldn't be that old then because he's that old now.
Well, he's kind of a doctor, so
I do like how the zombies in this one are like, slow and plodding.
yeah.
And now you get zombies like fucking.
Well, no, these zombies sumo wrestle.
Yeah, I mean, I just like the makeup on them, like because they're actually like not, like the zombies you're used to in Hollywood now, where there's just like junked in makeup. They just look like humans that
Yes.
have just like undergone, and they have died and they're literally coming back. They're not decomposed.
No, they're
the
like
mo-
fresh.
what
yeah.
about like
Fresh as
a movie like I Am Legend? Are those zombies? Or what are
They're undead, right?
Yeah,
Like-
they are, but there's like a something that happened that caused that. These is just like they've come back to life due to the Venus gas or something.
I do think the story is kind of wild, and seeing this for the first time, I can actually say this is the first. I've seen parts. I've never seen the whole thing. I was surprised by the logic behind the zombies. I kind of liked it. I just didn't expect it.
Agreed. It makes sense. We don't know what's up there in the space.
I did like the radio playing throughout.
Me too.
And then the TV broadcast playing made me feel like I was playing PT or something.
I kind of like it because if you're in that time period, that is what you're relying on for any type of communication to get you out of the circumstance.
Right.
So trying to put myself into it, but I can see there is some downtime, especially like how he boards the same thing and removes the boarding and then like reboards. I felt like I was playing Resident Evil 4.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah,
I guess it's preference. It's like, do you prefer your zombies as they're presented in this movie, or do you prefer your zombies like, fucking scaling airplanes? And
yeah,
shit?
I mean, I don't like that. I mean, launching zombies and zombies that have like just a supreme athleticism, I'm not a fan of. I also don't like dormant zombies either. Maybe like some type of neutrality. I don't know, like some kind of like balance.
Or do you like your zombies more human-like, like in this movie, or like just again completely like Walking Dead? And like,
no, I mean, I do. I mean, there's a lot of, there's even other takes too, because you have like the bacteria fungus take that Last of Us does. And you have, there's a lot of takes you could do with zombies. I appreciated this take of just like, this is what I, like, this is a zombie, right? It's someone that just like undead, right? They come back to life. They're died and then they
are back.
They're back.
Now, I like about this movie is that it started like the zombie lore that continued like to this day. Like if you get bit, you turn.
Got him in the head to kill him.
Yeah, body shots don't work. Like gun wise, you gotta get the brain.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this is not like, it's definitely not my favorite zombie movie. I mean, I think there's some pretty strong movies. I would actually even argue that Fulci Zombie 2 is probably better. But I mean, like a lot of it's derivative from this movie. But this movie does. It's not perfect by any stretch, but it does do the things, and it does those things well.
Agreed. And it's the first time those things have been done.
Yeah.
So it's a revolutionary movie.
Are they like always scared of fire, like in zombie lore?
No. Actually, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, I'm sure there's other takes, but I don't know if that's like been a consistent thing throughout.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that.
Now you said Jorge, Mr. Romero.
George, yeah.
He did a bunch of like.
Oh my God. He did Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead. Like, I'm not even kidding. He did all of them.
He didn't do Land of the Dead, did he? That's another one.
Land?
I don't know if he did.
Yeah,
Land.
with Dennis Hopper. He directed that. Yeah, he did.
So just like he was big in the Dead type movies.
But he didn't do Diary of the Dead.
No, he did.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Am I just like repeating things you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But no, he did all of them, Bri. Land, Diary, Day, Dawn. He did the Crazies.
I would
Crazies.
love to review the original Crazies.
Me too.
Someday.
I actually like the remake.
I like the Timmy O remake as well, yes.
Yeah, he's done a lot.
Okay, cool. What I will say is I haven't mentioned it yet. If you've never seen the final podcast before, what we're going to do is review this entire movie. We do one per week. We're going to review it from front to back, pretty much scene by scene, all the good stuff. Kind of rate the movie from like 1 George Romero to 10 George Romeros, or 1's a piece of shit, 10's a masterpiece. Wrap it up with the best kill of the film. Sometimes the best kill, sometimes the most meaningful. And then that's pretty much the spiel we do on the final podcast.
And we ain't talking about the Pokemon spiel.
Oh, I said spiel.
Oh, I thought you said spiel.
No, I guess there's a spiel and there's I'm giving you
my mistake.
the final podcast
My mistake.
spiel before we really get into the scene by scene.
Yeah.
Into the spooky pit.
Yes. Speaking of, fuck it. Let's jump right into
Tickle
the
me.
spiel pit.
Holy shit. Night of the Living Dead, released 1968. The most annoying characters in all Pennsylvania hole up in a farmhouse to fend off undead ghouls hungry for their flesh. They're not zombies, they're ghouls.
Ghouls.
Film was directed by George A. Romero, and it stars Dwayne Jones, Judith O'Dea, Karl Hardman, Marilyn Eastman, Keith Wayne, and Judith Ridley. Ghouls, guys. They're ghouls. Who's your favorite character?
Not this chick, definitely.
Not Barbara.
And definitely not the guy that like fucking defends with every inch of his being the bunker.
Yeah.
The man's in love with
He defends the
bunker.
basement. It's like, we need to go back into the basement.
I wish I had anybody in my life that cared about me as much as he cares about the bunker.
Nah, Ben's the best character by far. It's not even close.
Ben's great. I'm actually going to throw a curveball and say the chief at the end of the film.
Interesting. Why the chief at the end?
He's hilarious because he's sent in to basically just kill entire communities of undead.
Yeah.
And his like basic interview commentary, just how he talks, just like light up an entire town is just so funny to me.
Okay. That's a fair one. I feel like you can't really have another favorite character besides them.
Ben is awesome though.
Yeah.
Ben is great.
Great. So
I love how logical and calm
Ben is.
and rational he is.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's seen it before. Like it's kind of weird sometimes because he's like, oh, they're gonna come back. Like, but he does the experiment as he goes, like with the fire and like things like that. So he knows to board things up. He does stay calm. He does have like expectations. I think it's probably because of what he mentioned about the fire truck that led him to this point.
Yeah, he gives the mute girl like a whole story about it.
Barbara's the worst. Barbara.
She's annoying. She has a traumatic incident.
Yeah, so the movie opens. Her and her brother are going to the graveyard to see their father. While they're there, there's a guy who's walking towards them, and Johnny has the line, "They're coming to get you, Barbara."
I mean, he constantly jokes at it. Yeah. It is very funny that he literally just goes right up to her.
And she gets attacked. He tries to save her. He hits his head on a gravestone. She leaves him, and she then hightails it to this house, which she drives away from. She drives out of the graveyard to this house, but that zombie follows her all the way to this house.
Yeah.
Like the same one, the Peter Capaldi zombie. He gets here. She's then like looking through the house. She finds the dead body upstairs. It's the skeleton-faced person. This is when Ben shows up, and Ben is there to actually be a useful part of this movie. As Barbara now, it was strange because I thought Barbara was going to be the main character, but she takes a huge backseat from the moment Ben shows up.
Did you think that Johnny would come? I mean, I guess he technically does, right? But like, did you ever think you'd get him in like a different capacity? Because the last thing you see is him get knocked to the ground and hit his head on a grave.
I actually just thought his story was done. I actually thought we would never see him again or what happened to him.
You don't see zombie Johnny?
You do. I'm saying, while watching this, I never thought we would.
Oh, okay.
Like, did you think like when Johnny she first leaves him that he would come back in that incapacity?
I thought he might have been still alive. I don't know
did
why.
not think he was dead.
Yeah.
Really?
I thought he was going to show up at the house in human form.
I thought so too, to be honest. But that doesn't happen.
Nah, that man's hella dead.
So let's talk about her and her trauma and how basically after the opening scene where they come to get her, she essentially sits there and has zero lines.
So people have theorized that she's supposed to almost be the human form of the zombie. Off of like a certain scene. So, because it's established, we talked about how the zombies are afraid of fire, right, guys? So, some people have pointed out there's scenes later in the movie where like matches are lit in the house and she's like afraid of the fire. Like she flinches when the matches are lit. So, almost like she's supposed to almost be like one of the zombies, but not a zombie. And that's why she's almost catatonic where she doesn't talk throughout the movie.
Right. So, she has this one like spaz moment where she's like, we have to go find Johnny. We have to go find him.
Nah, she has a fucking meltdown.
Yeah.
And then other than that, she goes right back to
Nothing.
not talking. He tries to get her to do stuff, board up the windows, board up the house. She won't do anything he says.
Yeah, she's he kind of talks to himself for a majority of this movie.
Yeah, that's gonna be frustrating because like he is, the purveyor of rational thought, and also just being productive and trying to like talk and motivate and be positive, but also realistic. And he's basically talking to the ether. She's not receptive to anything he's saying.
Right. So he at one point starts getting very like protective over her.
Yeah.
When like other characters are introduced.
Well, that's his only friend.
I wouldn't consider her much of a friend.
Well, I mean, you gotta think he's been on an island all alone by himself for so long that he's just been talking to her. It's kind of like, because I'm comparing it to like Castaway, right? Tom Hanks, he's stranded on an island.
Wilson.
All he's got is the volleyball Wilson. Barbara is Wilson. She's just a volleyball that doesn't speak. And Ben is Tom Hanks, and he'll talk to her. He'll tell her his plans. He doesn't expect an answer, but it's someone to talk to. So, like, you remember when Tom Hanks cried at Castaway because Wilson floated away? That's kind of like what's happening here.
Got it. Okay.
Interesting.
So
That makes sense to anyone else?
No.
when
That was actually I actually like that.
when she initially gets to the house, she sees a corpse up the stairs.
Yes.
Are we to assume that's the owner of the house or potentially just another person there?
I took it as the owner of the house because the other people who were held up in the house were not the owners either.
They
Right,
came.
'cause
They
that-
came in. She was
Yeah.
dead.
That thing wasn't a zombie. It was just decayed.
Yeah, it was eaten.
Yeah. But it didn't turn if it was eaten by a zombie.
Yeah, this is the first movie with rules, so I just assume it's a fuck up. But eventually, you get it down. Or like maybe his idea originally, like, is if a bite would turn you, but if your whole face is eaten, you don't turn.
It is quite wild what a like craze of zombies we went through.
Oh my god!
in recent.
I guess it could be this too, though. And I don't want to like overanalyze the zombie.
Yeah.
But like, what if the person died pre-bite, like just like didn't get bitten, just died?
They come back because Johnny technically didn't die from a bite; he died from hitting his head on a tombstone.
We don't know that actually killed him, though.
That's a good point,
That was
too.
such a
That's
light tap.
that's a good
That's why
point.
I swore he's alive. I'm like, this guy barely hit his head on the gravestone.
Yeah, it could go either way, really. I guess
I mean, it's not covered, so
it's not. So it leaves it up to interpretation, which is good because it allows us to have a discussion where I don't need to rant about how much I hate life watching the movie like Tarot last week. Now we could just have an open discussion about something cool.
yeah. And can we talk about caulking for a second?
I really want to
Yes,
call.
of course. I love caulk.
Okay, when you're caulking, what type of like music do you listen to?
Oh, probably Corn.
Wrestling theme music.
It gets you like in the mood to caulk.
Yeah.
Got it. Great. How about you, Matt?
Matt. Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Answer the question.
Probably like I would say like punk rock. Kind of.
And when you
Punk
plan
rock.
and when you pre-plan your caulking sessions, like what is the normal time slate you have to caulk? Like do you do a lot like an 8 to 5, or is it like more like an 8 to 12, a couple hours? You take breaks.
I would say like 2 hours maybe.
2 hour caulk.
No, you ain't caulking in 2 hours.
No, it depends. Like I'm thinking of like a shower.
You're caulking.
You caulk showers. You
Pre-shower?
you caulk tile.
No, you gotta caulk a dry shower.
Yeah.
You don't caulk a wet shower.
You can't caulk a wet shower.
No,
That's
you
insane.
Caulk the dry shower.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. God, someone's gotta talk sense to the mic.
I'm sorry. I'm not versed in the caulk as
Yeah,
much
have
as
you
you
ever
guys.
Okay.
have you ever caulked a window?
No.
It depends on what you're caulking.
Yeah. I've
So-
caulked a window.
It could be anywhere from like a 2 hour session to like a fucking 8 hours.
Well, like a bathtub might take you a 4-hour sesh to caulk that shit.
Yeah, you had to put multiple
Multiple times.
Yeah. it really
Like if you're just doing
depends.
one window, you could probably caulk a window in 2 hours.
Yeah.
How much is that? Is the caulk expensive?
I haven't bought caulk in years, so I don't know. I don't know why I went into my Boston
I
accent.
don't think it's
there.
that expensive.
Probably not. You could just get it at Home Depot.
Sorry, I don't want to like bridge us too much, but I just we're on this theme of caulking.
The thing is, if you bring us a topic, we're going to deviate for hours.
That's true.
That's what we do.
Including caulking.
Also, if you think about it, essentially, the first half of this movie, not a ton of stuff happens.
Mike.
You're
right.
Which was my one. What's that word? Gripe with this movie. I almost said quipe.
That's a gripe because it's a little slow moving at first, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got to beat this bitch into shape.
I do love
Mike fucking got rock hard
Oh,
when
yes.
he slapped her.
Okay, so
passion bump that shit. I fucking got rock hard when he just
Fucking-
socks her in the face.
that is got to be like
Passion bump,
one
passion bump, passion bump.
or passioning it. Okay, it's like one of the biggest bro moments I've seen in a film. Like that's like the biggest like ode to just being a total dude.
Yeah. Well, she needed it.
She slapped him and got some big ass repercussions for
Yeah,
it.
like because he needed to get her on the right page.
I like that. He's like, it wasn't like, oh no, you're a woman, I won't hit you. He's like, listen, you need to straighten up.
Well, it's the 1960s. You have to keep your women in order back then.
Now
Now we just let them run rampant, do whatever they want.
I mean, like he punched her so her head would go 180 degrees.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic.
Imagine like she fucking owled and just did a 360 with it.
Imagine you just fucking punched her. You just fist went through her face.
He is a
He did it for
very
Christine.
capable man. He could do that.
Yeah, he's strong. He's svelte.
He just took. He's like was always actioning on things throughout the entire movie. He was telling everybody where to board, how to board.
Yeah.
He was, and
He was like a flight attendant.
I do agree with the downtime of like he did a lot of reboarding, and there was some downtime where he kept turning on the radio. But I mean, like during this, there are like zombies that are coming up outside that he does kill. He does kill 2 of them.
He does.
with tire irons.
Yep.
And I think he also takes a tire iron and puts it through a zombie's forehead.
Yep.
Right, and that's the one he drags outside.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's good stuff.
I think he also has a rifle too.
He does find a rifle. He loads it up with some buckshots and gets ready to, fight if he has to.
Yeah, I know he shoots 2 of them out the window, and then that's kind of like at that point when he does that, that's when they
Find the people downstairs.
This is like
right?
pretty deep into the movie too. At this point, where
Yeah.
it's just like they just hear noise downstairs. There's like literally another
family. Well, no,
technically-
it's a wife, husband, and daughter, and then another couple.
Yeah, but they're literally just been downstairs the whole time
Yes.
while they've been upstairs making all this noise, and that's where he catches the one guy in a lie.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to talk about this bunker versus not being the bunker. Upstairs, middle floor.
You gotta be in.
What is safer? What is better? Do you take all you need down to the bunker?
No, because then you're just forever trapped in the bunker. Because how are you ever gonna know like what's up there?
Eventually, you can peek your head out.
What if there are zombies?
I think the guy's really stupid, and I'll tell you why. Because I think like the reason why you stay in the middle is because you have the accessibility to go downstairs,
Exactly.
and you could also like have that reflex to like I can seal off and go downstairs, and you have that flexibility. Whereas like if you're downstairs, you are literally trapped.
Yep.
Because it's only a matter of time before they're gonna get downstairs. Like yes, it's a possibility they avoid you, but that doesn't mean they're gonna leave the house.
Right, and then they could just be there forever.
I completely agree. I think like you can go like what they did with the Molotov cocktails. They threw it out the window. I think you could use that as leverage. He could have shot from the upstairs, shot down at them, and you could see what's out there. You
Exactly.
know?
I'll tell you what, though, crazy bunker guy was right about one thing. He tells him how like the boarding of the windows isn't enough,
No, he was right about that.
and it absolutely wasn't enough.
He's like he did criticize how many windows there are, which is true.
He's like, "There's 1,000 windows up here."
I play Resident Evil. They do come through the windows.
Yeah. Sure. So do the dogs. It's crazy.
But you have to get that is a valid point. You got to board them up, but still, I think I would take the flexibility. I do like the strat that Ben puts together. I do like how they Molotov cocktails. I don't think they mention anything about the fire attracting them.
No.
I just think it's a
It
way
scares
to
them, yeah.
kill them and
Yeah.
scare them.
At one point, he lights a sofa chair on fire.
Yes,
and
throws it
puts
to-
it on the lawn
to scare them away for a little
Yeah.
bit. So the whole plan they come up with is they have to escape via car, but the car doesn't have gas, but there is a gas pump out back. So Ben and the dude that isn't part of the family, he's the guy with the other girl, they're going to go out and they're going to get the car and they're going to fill up with gas. They're going to come back. Everyone's going to be safe. The dad is going to throw the Molotov cocktails out the window to distract them.
Yep,
So
and he
they
does.
could get out there. And all the plan is going great until the guy's girlfriend runs out to like help for some reason.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why she did this.
So he gave her like very clear instructions not to go to the car.
Right. And then she
Her
did.
name is Judith. But she couldn't. For some reason, he was fine. He was not even under duress, but she thought he was, so she just ran out and panicked and wanted to be with him.
Yeah.
I know that there was like for some reason they couldn't like they were having trouble getting the car going but they eventually were okay.
So yeah, that whole thing happens. They're trying to get the gas in the car, but like they're panicking. They spill the gas. The gas catches on fire. The guy and this girl drive it away to try to get it away from the pump. They don't realize there's the trail of fires following them. And the car I wasn't expecting the car to blow up.
The scene was sick.
Like, the car blows up. The two of them catch on fire and die. I'm like, whoa. Like, I was not expecting him.
I think it was dumb for him to put down. He shouldn't have put down the fire. Like, he was holding the torch and he put the torch down.
Yeah, that was
next to a gas pump.
Yeah, that's issues.
And then also the fact that he literally sprayed the gas he pressed the button before he was supposed to press the button.
Yeah,
and
that
sprayed gas all over the car.
That was mega issues. So two of the people are dead already. Ben gets back. The friggin' father won't let him in at first, and then he eventually lets him in, and Ben just fucking wails on him.
Yeah,
beats him.
He doesn't like pull any punches. He like literally just destroys him.
No, he only throws punches.
Yeah, he was though.
Yeah,
he was throwing punches at his face repetitively.
It was awesome.
Did we establish that the daughter is
bit?
She's like, well, they don't.
They mention it one
time
that she's been bitten.
Yes. Okay,
but obviously they have no idea what happens.
From
yeah, just that one of the things that bit her. We can kind of explain the story a little bit, maybe the background of Ben and how he got there.
Yeah, go into it.
We know that how she gets there because we see it. Which I am critical of one scene, by the way, because when Johnny dies, she just drive her car straight into a tree, which was fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Kind of reinforces that women can't drive stereotype. She literally had open street and drove right into the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neither here nor there. I thought that was a little silly. But Ben mentioned that, and I guess he got like some of his tactics that he uses because he saw a vehicle that was it was like a truck because he was getting into a vehicle, but he saw another truck that was driving with a bunch of the zombies attached, and it was on fire, and it was trailing a bunch of these folks, and that's essentially how he kind of like got on the idea that they're scared of fire and it kills them. But essentially it was on fire, so he could not utilize that source of transportation, and he basically had to revert to the farmhouse. And they kind of trailed him at that point.
And they established that the family, the daughter was bit, they were trying to escape, their car overturned, and they ran to the nearest house they knew of.
Right, and we learned from the newscast that this is it taking place on the East Coast?
Yeah, it's the East Coast. They're in Pennsylvania right now. And there's a bunch of bases to get to that will be safe, one of them being Willard, which is the closest one, which is why they're trying to get to the car to get to safety.
Okay.
Obviously, none of this is working out for them because two people have exploded. The dad is just getting his face pummeled in. The mom is going to go downstairs to check on things eventually, and that's going to get a little dicey. Doesn't happen yet because I believe the zombies then start to attack, right, Bri?
Yeah, they do.
And once the zombies are attacking, they pull Barbara because she sees Johnny. This is when she sees Johnny, right?
Yep.
And then she's just like, "Oh, Johnny," and she just fucking basically. I feel like she gave herself up to the zombies.
She wanted to be with Johnny.
It's just
in the zombie afterlife.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, man. Barbara's frustrating. She's a frustrating character, and I kind of understand. It does take away from the movie. Like, I don't know. She like really upset me.
Yeah, she's dumb and annoying, and
she's just there, and like yeah, she's a detractor. I do like. I know it's sometimes long, but I do like how they kind of tune into the media to get response because they don't know like what to expect.
Yes.
And the media is kind of telling them like they have a bunch of scientists working on like what's going on because they mention it on the screen like it's there's just murderers running everywhere like it's the fucking purge.
They never call them zombies.
No, they don't. Eventually, someone labels them as ghouls. So I was using
Yes.
the word ghouls before.
Ghouls.
But like they're viewing it as like people, like what's causing people to murder each other in mass like this.
It's the fucking ghoulies.
And they have a bunch of people that are like studying the brain and stuff like that. And then they eventually figure out that like not only they're going around murdering people, but they're feasting on their flesh, like post-mortem, just eating them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, yep, this is fucking odd. This is new.
This shouldn't be happening.
And then they eventually get to the point where like, okay, we've done some more tests and now we know how you can kill them. And they basically explain
Head trauma.
Military explains head trauma, that it got to be like a decapitated head, right? Or like shots to the head to get rid of them because they will turn. And then they also, not to get too far ahead, but they do mention a bunch of safe zones like scattered throughout the television.
Oh, no, you're good to mention that. We've honestly gotten to that part already because you got to think that's why they're trying to get the car.
They're trying to get the car to get to Willard, which
Yeah.
is the next town over. So that's why they're going to devise a plan to try to like shoot their way out of it.
Yes.
Shit is about to get fucking crazy. Like you mentioned, them seeing Johnny and Johnny basically whisking Barb away. Like she got bitten and then carried away.
Yes. And then I forgot why, but it does lead to Ben shooting the father.
He actually shoots him, I think, before that.
Oh, before?
I think so.
Why does he do it? I forgot what they...
Honestly, he's not a zombie. I just think he's fucking tired of his shit.
Yeah, and just shoots him,
I
right?
really do.
Yeah.
I really do. After watching, I think he kind of came up with this man is a hindrance,
Yeah.
and I need to get rid of him because
what-
he's gonna get us killed.
Because after he gets shot, he falls down the stairs, and his daughter starts to eat
Yeah,
him.
that's when that happens.
And then
Yes.
the wife eventually goes down to check. She sees the daughter eating him. She backs up into a corner, and the daughter just kills her with a fucking a trowel.
Yeah, it was a trowel. I thought it was one of two things. It was a cake cutter or a trowel. It's a trowel.
It's a trowel, right?
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was one or the other, but
Yeah.
it makes sense. That's a pretty brutal scene.
Especially for 1968.
Yeah, because she continues to stab, maybe like 30 times, just
Yeah.
so many times.
It's crazy. I mean, at that point, we're just left with Ben. And Ben, he's fighting off the zombs. And he does a good job of fighting off the zombs. So good that he survives the night.
Yeah, I mean, he's still in the farmhouse. They do throughout this time, like I said, because they're listening to media coverage before we get to the end. Just kind of want to chat through like the reason why the zombies are there.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, but it was a Venus probe
Yes.
that came to orbit, and like it came around to us, and it brought a bunch of radiation, and we never sent the probe back out or something. And
Yeah.
the radiation just caused people to become undead,
Yep.
essentially.
Yes. And that's what caused all of this madness.
Which is really interesting. Take
It's
on the-
different, and I like it. So now it's just like the police, your second favorite character, the chief, and he's like his hunting mission to just eliminate all zombies throughout Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they're like Butler County, and
Yeah.
they're just like he's literally going town to town. He's just taking interviews on how he's just like killing entire
Yes.
communities of ghouls.
And that leads to them going to this house finally, and they see Ben, and I guess they assume he's a zombie, and they shoot him in the head.
It's funny because they're about to shoot him, and like I did not like. I love how it came together.
Yeah.
Because they kept like kind of showing this guy doing interviews like leading up to the end. I really did not see that coming.
Me either.
And at the point, like he's also like, because he hears something, he's looking out too with his gun, and he just gets shot right in the head, like a one-time.
I was stunned when that happened. I thought like he was gonna make it. Like to see him die like that, and I feel like Eli Roth used that ending for his Cabin Fever ending almost.
Yeah.
Where the last survivor gets shot by the police.
To your point, I could see how this movie could be controversial because they also did like the little girl turning and becoming a zombie,
Yes.
which I feel is probably not mainstream at the time.
Definitely not.
Because that was pretty brutal to see her like basically become a ghoul over time due to
Yeah.
her bite.
Were they allowed to show a naked woman on screen at this point?
Probably
Because like back in old TV shows and stuff,
they ain't really did.
yeah, you can't even. They couldn't even show like a couple lying in bed together.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm trying to think. My timelines are probably off, but it might have been happening a little bit during this time. This movie just did a lot that wasn't going on at the time in Hollywood. So it was like I said, it's very controversial.
It is rated R.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, that's Night of the Living Dead. That is the classic that spawned all these countless zombie movies. I'll be honest, after watching it, I appreciate this movie for its historical, and I actually think it's a very well made and well done movie. But I think for nowadays, with how movies are, it's a little slow paced at the beginning. I'm not giving it a bad rating. I'm just gonna give it a 6 out of 10. I think if I had watched this in 1968, I probably would have gave it like an 8 or a 9. But for like all the zombie movies I've seen today to now, I appreciate this movie more for its historical aspect and what it did for the genre rather than the movie itself. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. I'm going to go with a 5.
Okay.
It feels wrong almost because this movie's like, a classic,
yeah.
But essentially, I think the first half of this movie is quite boring.
Yes.
There's literally no joke, like a 4 or 5 minute stretch at one point where he's just boarding window, and I'm like, okay, let's
speed this up.
Yeah, cut the fat. Basically, is what But yeah, and then other characters get introduced, gets better. The endings of this movie I enjoy quite a bit. Zombie wise, I'm not crazy about them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need my zombies again like flying,
Right.
But they're a little too slow moving for me.
Okay.
But I thought there's a strong main character. What's her name at the beginning?
Barbara.
Yeah, she's awful. Felt like she really dragged the first half down. But again, I respect the movie because of what it launched. But now I feel like zombies are like just overdone.
That's a fact.
But that's not this movie's problem. We're talking about this movie. I'm teetering on 5 or 6. I think I'm gonna go with a 5.
Okay.
Didn't love it. Didn't hate it.
5 to Brian.
Yeah. Totally understand your guys' points for sure. I did enjoy this movie. I'm gonna go 7. The reasons for that, I do believe that I don't really view time period as a reason to rate a movie higher or lower. If that's fair. I know some people do that. I don't really do that.
Oh, like you're saying, like, oh, for the time, this movie was great.
Well, yeah, like Citizen Kane. Well, like for the time, it was the best movie ever shot. So, like, it just is. I like this movie because I actually like the pacing. I'm not a guy that likes continuous zombie action. I like more, like, I really did like hearing the stories and hearing what was going on in the world. I do totally agree, in which they just scrap the boarding and reboarding. I feel like that was very duplicative, and I feel like I didn't need that at all. So I totally heard on some of the boring pieces. I don't understand what they were doing with her character, and I appreciate the context there, Shane. I think her character was a little weird. I understand the trauma, but like it was a little bit too much, and her character really didn't do anything. I feel like you were waiting for the boyfriend to come, the brother to come back in, and I feel like that didn't really deliver like it probably should have. However, I do like the other people downstairs. As much as I don't like the character, I think the character was needed because I like the internal battle that he had. That's always a zombie staple, right? Like you're battling with survivors, you're also battling the zombies.
Right. Humans versus humans instead of just all human versus zombie.
For sure. And although they were not like totally caked in makeup, I did like the ghoulish look. Some of these zombies, I found out they didn't even use makeup for because they were fucking filming in hot and sweaty temperatures. They just let them rock and roll.
Okay.
Which I thought was pretty cool. But some of them do have like some minor decomp on their face.
Yeah.
So it looked like they just died. Like there wasn't much time for them to convert, or they just converted while they were alive. Because I hate that, like, oh, you just became a zombie, so now your face is like completely ripped off.
Right.
It makes no sense. I think this approach makes a little bit more sense for me. But like I'm balancing out the unique zombie approach and story with the fact that there is some shit to me that doesn't make sense. Like why Barb just intentionally decided to crash her car, because I don't, that to me was like ridiculous.
Yeah, it kind of made no sense.
So there is some really goofy shit in this movie, but I do like it. So I'm going to go light 7 on this one.
Light 7. I think my favorite and coolest part of this movie is when the daughter turns.
Oh yeah. That's a cool one.
Quite cool.
We asked him Matt for his opinion.
You want to, Matt? Hey, Matt. Matthew.
Really
Yes,
generous lately,
yes.
this guy.
How are you? First of all,
Hanging in.
because I know your opinion on this movie. You thought it was boring.
Yeah, I think I'm actually more of agreement with you, Mike, in terms of the movie. I was giving it a 5.
Okay.
I think the pace at the beginning was tough to get through. Grant, I do get that there's some story lore, so that's fine. I'm all fine with that. Seeing the news and all that, the radio, like you said, boarding up the windows.
Lots of boarding in this movie.
Yeah,
Too much boarding.
Tons of it.
Yeah, like I really did feel like I was playing a
And-
survival horror game. Like I'm like, yeah, this is like it's too much.
And then, like you said, Brian, the crashing into the tree, which was literally useless.
Really, what the fuck was she doing?
There was some goofy shit.
And the thing, I mean, not to dive into this, but she hit her door. She could have definitely drove away. There was no doubt.
What I'm gonna say is, you remember when we did When Evil Lurks and we made like how like the women were smart and the men were dumb?
Yes.
This is the opposite.
Yeah.
Women were so fucking retarded in this movie. Barbara, whether or not she's a catatonic or not, she's like is useless. And that girl Judith, really stupid shit.
Yeah.
Because she literally was told to stay in there. She can't do anything because he knows how to drive and find the stuff for the gas or whatever. And she was not supposed to go, and she just, for no reason, jets outside.
It ruins the whole plan.
I think that I keep on forgetting the main character's name, the lady. I think the fact that she literally did absolutely nothing except spew, literally randomly say random things that really didn't have anything to do with anything. I think that was useless.
I hate how she doesn't do anything that's asked of her.
No.
The whole thing is I get the trauma, like I get what they were going for with the trauma portion, but in that kind of situation, I would assume.
Well, it's crazy. She's like, again, like a fucking mute. And when she has her like outburst, she even says she doesn't know if he's dead or not.
Yeah, she doesn't.
So what's she so traumatic for if might not even be dead? Get
She
over
left
it.
him.
Get over it.
Because she left him.
Yeah, I think that in that situation, yes, of course you're upset. Of course, that's fine. But in that situation, you're also trying to survive. So I think the fight or flight kind of comes into play. But again, I guess maybe I'm looking too far into a movie from the 60s. But I think overall it's good historical movie. I think it obviously, like you guys said, tracks into the future of zombie movies and horror movies. But I think overall, I think it was a 5. I probably wouldn't go back and watch it.
If I was to do one of our early segments that we have long since buried, which is rewrite, I would have rewritten Barbara's character to be very, very at first traumatized by the Johnny thing, the brother. But in an attempt, she tries to go back. Ben prevents her from doing so. Maybe they fight to the point where he has to actually like lock her up. And then eventually when the zombies come, she has to like let her go to fix it, like to work on getting it. And then Johnny does come back and eats the shit out of her. Like that should have been it shouldn't have been her getting bitten and carried away, but she does get, eaten and stuff. I feel like it should have been a very gory, disgusting munching from her brother on her.
Yeah.
I like that.
Now, in the remake, did you guys like the remake or no?
Haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Is there a remake? I didn't even know there's a remake of this.
90s,
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
no,
that I
see
haven't
it.
seen.
Now, this movie did, as we've said, spawn a generation almost.
Yeah.
What is your go-to zombie
Movie?
movie? It could be fucking video
It's-
game.
It's honestly almost by movie though, or like by game or like comic, because like they're all radically different based on the.
George Romero, I love Day of the Dead. I think Day of the Dead's the best movie he made. My favorite, I'll be honest, the remake of Dawn of the Dead's absolutely fantastic. Walking Dead, the first 3 seasons were great.
Early Walking Dead is kind of peak.
Yeah.
It's real good.
Yeah.
I mean,
What about a movie like
So, but the thing is, I love 24 Days Later.
is it 28?
28 Days Later. Sorry, I don't know why I said 24. 28 Days Later. I think that's a great movie.
More infection.
But is it an infection or a zombie? So it's
Yeah, I mean, there's some overlap, right?
because it's technically a rabies virus that causes the stuff. But honestly, if I had to pick, 28 Days Later is fantastic.
You excited for the new one?
I actually am.
28 years later.
I'm tuning in.
That's a tough one. Like I said, I really like Zombie 2, and there's also Return of the Living Dead.
That's so good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
I'm gonna go with Zombie Land.
That's also fucking great.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Generally love that movie.
I saw Train to Busan the other day. I really like that movie. Korean, like, it's really good. Again, like, I am not a fan of fast-paced zombies. I'm really not. Which that movie is all about. Not only fast-paced, but like bulks of fast-paced. But it has such a good story. But yeah, like, so that was a solid one. I just don't love like the super fast-paced zombies.
I'm not crazy about the genre in general.
Me neither. I agree with you. It's not my like
It's
go-to.
not my forte. It's not my Will Forte, as you would say.
See what you
If
did there.
if I had to pick one, I would say early Walking Dead is really good television. But that's not even because of the zombies. It's because
It's
of
because
characters
survivors.
like Shane.
Yeah.
Dale.
Yeah.
That's why I like Last of Us a lot too, because like Last of Us, I know it's not zombies technically, it's like fungus, undead, but like it's the survivor interactions that make that so special, because it's so fucking dark. Same thing like with like Walking Dead early on, like those characters you meet, they're like very dark. Like the human element is darker than the fucking undead that's just gonna no matter what automatically kill you.
Right.
The human element can be even worse. Like it's like torture.
Right. Like when in The Walking Dead, where like Shane is like banging like Rick's wife, that's far more interesting than any zombie thing that happens. And once he leaves the show, it takes a severe dive.
Yeah. I do like the governor story a little bit.
that was good. That was
He's
solid.
pretty dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree with you. Like Shane, like that inner turmoil with like best friends working together, and like
Right.
now he's like fucking your girl because like you might be dead, or
Right. Shout out John Barthnell.
he's like doing things now.
Yeah,
he's there.
He's just
He's
super
also got a
popular.
really good podcast. So
Yeah, he's okay. No, I just mean like after The Walking Dead, like he did. Okay.
Oh, he did okay.
oh no,
Okay, I see what you're
he's
saying.
he's doing good.
Yeah, like he's been in like he's the fucking Punisher.
Yeah.
He's also in Wolf of Wall Street. He's in like a lot of
Yeah,
big
he
movies.
kind of kicked ass. So Necronomicon, I would have to go with the mom getting stabbed by the drow. It's the
totally
best-
agreed.
It's the best thing in the movie.
I know it's the iconic scene in the movie, but it's either going to be that one or Ben, because they're both like shocking. But I will agree with you, as shocking as the Ben
So
kill
my
is.
choice was going to be Ben, but 2-1 outweighed.
It's tough.
It is tough.
It is tough. They're both phenomenal.
But you know what they say:
Send it.
you win some, you lose some. And you lost this one.
I've been losing a lot, Shane.
That's not true. You know what is true though? Mama. You're in the Necronomicon for being a caring and kind mother. You were worried about your daughter, worried about your husband. That's why you went to check on them. And you were so taken aback by the fact she was a zombie. Like you couldn't handle it, so you just laid there and didn't move and let her slowly walk to you because you were so paralyzed by love that you just could not move. And we need that kind of love in the Necronomicon because we have a lot of hate in the Necro.
Yes.
So we're adding love. For that reason, we're adding you to the Necronomicon.
Johnny.
So with that said, that's the end of this and the beginning of Wes Craven month. We're doing all the Wes Craven movies we haven't touched before. Not all of them, but the ones we wanted to do. Because we've already done Screams and we've done some other stuff.
We've done a Nightmare
on Elm Street, the one he directed. So we are going to do, we're going to start with a hidden gem, some would say. We're going to do People Under the Stairs.
Yes. A movie that there are people living under
Stairs.
You guys
stairs.
like fucking gimp outfits?
Yeah.
There's a good amount of them in this
I
movie.
think Ving Rhames versus Dashikio on points. So there's
He
also that.
does. So, with that said, we are the final podcast signing off, and we will see you next week when we discuss how do we get Mike G under the stairs.
Weekly horror reviews here at the Final Podcast every Monday. Tune in next week for the start of Wes Craven May. We are super excited for that. Also, please, feel free to connect with us on our social media accounts. Please subscribe to the YouTube. And if you want to ever listen to us, we're obviously available on all streaming platforms for podcasts, wherever you listen to them, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We will see you next week.
It's T-Bell time.